Greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Today we would like to speak about the faith, His Majesty's faith. What was the faith of Emperor Haile Selassie, and what was his position when it comes to religion? Now, the reason why we ask this question is because there are a lot of misrepresentations of the emperor. So a lot of people are coming in the name of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and they are trying to say that His Majesty was a part of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and therefore those who follow the emperor need to follow the Ethiopian Orthodox Church because that is His Majesty's faith. Now there's a big problem with that. That actually is incorrect. But that perspective that people are trying to pass off, certain Westerners are trying to pass off, that perspective is incorrect. Okay, and the only reason why they are pushing that agenda, is to crush Rastafari. And let us first understand what the Rastafari movement is. Okay, so over time, Rastafari has taken on different interpretations, and there's different sort of branches, and people hold different beliefs within Rastafari. But the original founders of the movement, and why Rastafari was fought so heavily down in Jamaica, was not because these was a set of people who was worshiping Jesus Christ. The reason why Rastafari was hated and fought so heavily and is still trying to be rewritten is because the Rastafari movement means that we worship Emperor Haile Selassie I. The Rastafari movement declares Emperor Haile Selassie I as God, God the Almighty, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. Okay, Rastafarians accept the divinity of Emperor Haile Selassie I, and that is a threat to people who believe the traditional Christian views, who follow the Roman ecumenical councils, because declaring Emperor Haile Selassie I as God is not within their dogma. So they are trying to crush that. There's many different ways that this has been done to try to, disprove Rastafari and to rewrite it and to basically destroy it. And one of the ways that I see is being done, and it has been going on for some time, is that these people are taking the emperor, they are taking Emperor Haile Selassie, and they are trying to pass it off that if we're true followers of Emperor Haile Selassie, that we need to follow the Ethiopian Orthodox Church because that is his faith and that is his religion. There is not a single quote in any of his speeches where you will actually find him saying, Haile Selassie saying that we must follow the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Not a single quote or reference to that fact, but that is what they say. Even when they tried to use Abuna Yisak, when His Majesty sent Abuna Yisak to the West, they also try to use that as a way to basically pass off that we need to follow the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. And regardless to the fact that Abuna Yisak said that he is not here to condemn the Rastafarians, and besides the fact that His Majesty also refused to condemn the Rastafarians. So in spite of that, they still try to say that His Majesty that if we follow His Majesty, we need to follow the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. But let us actually examine what His Majesty said, and not what these people are trying to pass off, right? Because His Majesty said, we don't consider our religion alone valid, and we have granted the people the freedom to observe any religion they please. So, if His Majesty did not consider His religion alone valid, then how is it that anyone can possibly say that His religion is the only way to follow Him, if He has granted us the freedom to observe any religion that we please? His Majesty is basically, He viewed all religions as the same, and He granted all religions the same rights and the same freedoms. So is this the same agenda that these Westerners who are coming in the name of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church are proclaiming? Do they consider our religion alone valid? If I say that Emperor Haile Selassie I is the Almighty Father of Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ is a prophet, and that prophet is Primus St. Croix, do you consider my views to be as valid as yours? The answer to that is no. So we don't need to pretend that what they are trying to do is their own self-made agenda to crush the Rastafari movement, and they are trying to use His Majesty, and that's wrong, because His Majesty cannot be used within that context, because He has given us the right to observe any religion that we please, which basically means that He has given us the power to think, that we can analyze the Bible independently, that we don't need to go and follow slavishly the Roman ecumenical councils. And just because, the Ethiopians have been following a certain tradition for 2,000 years, that means that we just need to also blindly follow ancient customs. His Majesty has given us the power and the right to think and to question things, and to prove if it is true or false, not just because it's been followed for 3,000 years. We are actually supposed to think about these things and analyze the faith and verify if what you are following is true or false, right? So His Majesty on many different occasions has reiterated this. So he said, religion is one's own, the country is for all. So He's basically given us the right, once again, the personal right to choose your own religion. Your religion is personal, but the country, the state, is for all. So His concern was on the political aspect, to unify the country, because in an ancient country like Ethiopia, and in all ancient countries, religion plays a big part. Religion plays a very big part in their life, in the unity of the nation, in nationalism, in creating nationalism and unity. In these ancient countries, religion has been one of the main aspects of forming that unity. The other aspect is war. So His Majesty did not kill the people into obedience, and He did not brutalize them, to follow Him, and under the threat of the gun, to say, look, this is the state, we are all one people. So religion was one of the ways that he used. He did not go around killing and basically scaring the people and beating them into obedience. So that was one of the criticisms of Menelik, is how he went to war against the independent rulers of Ethiopia to create the modern Ethiopian state. the thing about it is that His Majesty did not follow up on that, and he did not have to follow up on that because again it was already done by previous rulers. So he utilized religion to unify the country, and there was Christian missionaries who sent out to convert Ethiopian citizens to Christianity, and one of the first proclamations was in 1931, and this was directed to the Jews. So now some people misinterpret this once again to be on a religious aspect, to say that he wanted to convert everyone over to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. But again, that wasn't his position. Okay, religion once again was personal, but the state is for all. So the reason why he was converting the Jews, and the reason why he sent out these Christian missionaries to convert the Ethiopian citizens over to the Orthodox faith, was for political reasons. And all you have to do is look at the Ethiopian landscape. Where are the Jews at now? Where are the Ethiopian Jews right now? Are they loyal citizens of Ethiopia? Are they in Ethiopia? Are they loyal to the emperor? Do they consider Ethiopia to be their land, the Holy Land? No, they do not. They are not in Ethiopia. They, their loyalty obviously is to Israel, and to Jerusalem in the Middle East, and that's where the majority of them are at right now. Now, I'm not saying that all of them do not love their country and their heritage, but that's just the reality. His Majesty opposed them going over to Jerusalem because they're Ethiopian citizens, but their definition of religion made them look to a foreign land and to not be loyal to their nation. So now they're in another country. They're joined to the Israeli military, and they are loyal and fighting for that country instead of being loyal and fighting for their native country, the original land of the Jews, Ethiopia. So these Christian missionaries that His Majesty sent out, it was for political reasons, to keep the unity of the state. Because again, in these ancient countries, religion plays a very big role, not just in Ethiopia, but in all of the ancient countries. The ancient world was dominated by religion and war. So again, in examining His Majesty's position, we understand that he again granted everyone the right to freedom of religion, but he had to preserve the state. He had to preserve his country from disintegration, from basically what we see right now with Eritrea basically breaking off from the motherland, and that was also had to do a lot with the infiltration of the Arab League. So this is just historical facts. His Majesty was trying to preserve the state, because if the state is not preserved, and if Ethiopia would have been overthrown, then your religion would have meant nothing, because the colonizers would have just imposed their religion upon you and destroyed everything. Your religion, your heritage, everything, your history, everything would have been destroyed. So the state had to be preserved first. And once the state is preserved, and once you're loyal to the emperor, then whatever religion you choose is fine. So that was his mission. His Majesty said, as we guarantee to each the right to worship as he chooses, so we denounce the policy which sets man against man on issues of religion. So again, His Majesty was not fighting anyone's religion. We was given the right to worship as we choose, as we please. That is his position, to grant us the right to freedom of religion, but also to make sure that the state, the Ethiopian state, is preserved. Okay? His Majesty said, "New questions shall be posed to our ancient, traditional, and customary habits of thought. Long-held conceptions and beliefs shall come under ever closer critical scrutiny and examination. Our response to these challenges will decide the future." So we must question our religion, and we must prove its validity. You know, in the modern world, in Europe, in the West, it is you know, the traditional Christian religion is basically dying out. That they're losing numbers, and many people are understanding that it's false. They're understanding that Jesus Christ did not come 2,000 years ago, that there's no historical evidence of Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago, that there's actually no historical evidence of any of the prophets and the Bible stories that the Christian church tries to pass off as literal history. There's no evidence of any of that ever happening in the past. So the Bible is not false, but their interpretation is false. And many people are realizing that, and the Christian church in the modern world, in the West, you know, and even in Asia and all over, the Christian church is not, you know, influential. You know, it's losing its influence because people are seeing through the lies, and they are realizing that the interpretation that they are trying to pass off is false. So now His Majesty, he has a quote. There's a quote from His Majesty where he said that Ethiopia is like Sleeping Beauty that has been asleep for 2,000 years. So while all of this was taking place, while all of the investigations and the questioning of the Christian church and people trying to prove its validity, which is what His Majesty said must be done, that you should not just blindly follow a religion, you must prove if it is true or false. You know, while all of this was done, and while there was numerous studies done that has disproven the Christian interpretation, Ethiopia was asleep for all of this. But now Ethiopia is awake to the modern world, and Ethiopia is faced with a choice. Ethiopia is faced with a critical choice. So as I believe the only Christian church in Christian state in Africa, I know that there are many different or one of the only Christian states in Africa. Ethiopia plays a significant part. Okay, so what Ethiopia has to choose right now is whether or not they will defend this ancient Christian belief, a belief that has been proven false, a belief that cannot be verified. So will Ethiopia continue in this ancient Christian interpretation, or will Ethiopia, you know, analyze things objectively, think independently, prove if what they are following is true or false, and come to the realization of the true interpretation of the Bible? That is the choice that Ethiopia is faced with, and it's the same choice that everyone who follows the Bible is faced with. It is the choice of the world. It is what the world is faced with. And the true interpretation of the Bible is that the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords is the Almighty. And it says that God is the first and the last. And it is a historical fact that Emperor Haile Selassie I has those titles. And it is a historical fact that he is the only one who has those titles. So the Bible said that God will not give his glory to another. So again, His Majesty, another quote from His Majesty. He says, history tells us that education is not a new phenomenon in this country. What is new is the blending of spiritual education, which characterized Ethiopian teaching in the past, with modern secular education. So you can take as much time as you need to really let these things sink in, because the idea that Haile Selassie advocated the ancient order and wanted us to remain stagnant in ancient customs and an ancient religion without proving its validity is 100% false. It is absolutely baseless. It is a complete misrepresentation of the reign of Emperor Haile Selassie I. His Majesty, His Majesty said again that the spiritual education of the Ethiopians is not new. But what is new is the blending of your religion, is the blending of spiritual education with modern secular education. Let's be clear that there is no country and no religion on earth that does that can blend your religion with modern secular education, meaning facts. Can it be proven? Is it logical, or are you following superstition and supernatural concepts that cannot be verified, that does not blend with scientific knowledge? What religion follows logic? What religion? Traditional Christianity holds that the Father and the Son are the same substance. Okay, that is 100% illogical. That's not scientific. That is bogus. I mean, two different people, and in fact they say three different with the Trinity, right? But let's just focus on the Father and the Son. They're saying two different people. The Father and the Son are both God, are both the same substance. And they try to use their interpretations of the scriptures to prove this. Now, His Majesty once again said that you must take your spiritual education and blend it with modern secular education. Can you walk into a science laboratory, into a college classroom, and try to say that these miracles and these supernatural events took place, that you can cure cancer by prayer, that a father and a son are the same person, that a woman who never been with a man had a baby? I mean, are you able to do that? What religion can do that? What religion can take their version of spirituality and blend it with scientific knowledge? That religion is the truth. And the truth is that traditional Christianity, whether that comes in the form of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, or whether that comes in the form of the Catholic Church, or whether that comes in the form of the Protestants or any other Christian denomination, they cannot do that. There is only one religion that can blend their version of spirituality with scientific knowledge, and that is what we proclaim. When we proclaim that Emperor Haile Selassie I is the Almighty Father, and that the Father and the Son are not the same substance, that Jesus Christ is a prophet who did not come in ancient times. We have historical evidence of the coming of Jesus Christ, which is the second coming of Jesus Christ, and that is Primus St. Croix. The first man, the first Jesus Christ, is false. The first interpretation of Jesus Christ that Rome has passed off to the world is false. The second coming of Christ is the truth, and that is the teachings of the prophet Primus St. Croix, who declares that His Majesty is the Almighty Father. So that's the only way to blend, spirituality with scientific knowledge. And that is what His Majesty wanted us to do. His Majesty did not want us to remain stagnant in ancient customs that cannot be verified. His Majesty never said that the religion, the ancient Ethiopian religion, cannot change and will not change, because that is also in defiance of the Bible. It's in defiance of reason. You're basically closing your eyes to reason. But the Bible in Revelations tells you that Christ has issues with the church that you must amend. I mean, there's many different ways to look at this. You cannot just remain stagnant and close your eyes to truth and believe that you are the truth just because you don't listen to anybody and because you don't want to analyze anything. That does not equate with you having the truth. You must analyze things, and if you do have the truth, then you'll be able to stand up in front of anybody and in front of any form of reasoning, and your religion will be able to stand if you have the truth. So let us be truthful with the Word of God, and let us worship God in spirit and in truth. His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, the Almighty God. That is the true interpretation of the Scriptures. Jesus Christ is the prophet, and that prophet is Primus St. Croix. Give thanks.